I'm sorry. I could deadlift my husband. I could deadlift a whole ass man. You can't tell me shit. From the Vox Media Podcast Network, I'm Robin Addison, and this is Project Swagger, your transformation toolkit. So today, we are going to be talking about why you should burn your 5-pound weights. Come in closer. I'm gonna tell you, it's inexcusable to be picking up weights so light that they're not actually doing something for your muscle mass, for your bone density, for your longevity. And I know that some of y'all are going to be like, but Robin, this specific workout, it calls for it. I'm okay with that. But when you pick up a weight that is lighter than your handbag, that is lighter than your laundry detergent, I want you to be able to state in a declarative sentence, why? Why? Right? And if you can, I'm good with it. But I recently was traveling and I was shocked to see in hotel gyms how many ineffective workouts women were doing. Now, I don't know their lives. I don't know if they're recovering from injury. And yes, moving your body is better than not moving your body in any way, shape, or form. But I want us to be strong as hell for a long time, be a 95-year-old deadlifting baddies. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What is heavy lifting? All this talk about, okay, Robin, got it. I'm in it. I want to lift heavy. What does that even mean? I'm going to talk about what that should feel like, give you some prescriptive advice. But the bottom line, the main thing, let's keep the main thing, is I want us touching weights 3 days a week for the rest of our lives. Literally forever. Literally forever. This is not a season, it's a lifestyle choice. And we're going to talk about that today. All right, so why heavy? Every year we age, after the age, call it your 30s, we are losing muscle mass and we are losing bone density. And if we do nothing, we are going to be deconditioned by the time we're in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, maybe even by the time we get to our 50s. So I want to prevent that. And we're going to prevent that by lifting heavy weights. What does heavy mean? Heavy means lifting weights that create tension in the muscles. And why is that tension good for your body? Because it's going to require the adaptation, or it's going to stimulate the adaptation in your muscles to get stronger and, in some cases, get bigger. And oftentimes, both. Muhammad Ali is one of my favorite athletes of all time. And I love a story when he was interviewed by a journalist and they asked him how many sit-ups he could do. And his response was like a number that would be too low for a world champion boxer. You're like, really? I can do that many sit-ups. Really, Muhammad Ali? What you talking about? And it's because of this important point. He only started counting the reps when they hurt. And that is the game-changing principle that literally changed how I approach lifting. Because you might go into the gym, into your workout with the roadmap of this is exactly what I'm doing. I know what movements, I know what reps, I know how many sets. Good. I hope you have a game plan. You're going to have a more effective workout that way. But if you become that person that is just ticking off the list, I'm going to grab the 15s because I always grab the 15s and okay, Three sets of 10, got it, did it, done. Robin, what's next? Baby, you are not only leaving gains on the table, even if you have a game plan and you thought you had a good workout, I would call it still a largely ineffective workout if you aren't loading it correctly with the intention of creating tension on the muscle. And I'll specifically give you examples of my workouts. Let's say I am trying to do 3 sets of 10 of something, a squat. By that 8th rep, so reps 8, 9, and 10, I'm going to feel like I got on the struggle bus a little bit. I'm going to feel like, okay, that's not as poppy. It's not as springy. Still decent form. Obviously, we're trying to stay safe. This is assuming that you're maintaining good form. You're not just going up, picking up the heaviest thing on the rack just to for ego. It's heavy for you. But in those 10 reps in the workout, in this hypothetical example, that 8th, 9th, and 10th rep, the barbell or the dumbbell is involuntarily slowing down because I have created tension in the muscles and it's needing to work harder for the same exact range of motion and movement pattern under that same load. And that Muhammad Ali example is so dope because it's like, how many reps can you do? How many reps? How many squats can I do? 1, 3. Robin, what do you mean? Girl, you can do more than 3 squats. Not if it's loaded correctly. And that is the frame of mind that I want you to get in. I want you to get into this mindset that you're not just checking the boxes of the workout that you intended when you go to lift weights. You're trying to create that sticky point where it's kind of squirrely. You're like, is it gonna get up? Oh, okay, I got it. And here's another hard, concrete guideline for you to use when you're lifting. I want every set to be the first and only set. What does that mean? It means oftentimes we're kind of saving energy for that third set, or we're thinking, okay, in that third or fourth or fifth set, that's when it's going to start to burn. You're going to do a proper warm-up before you're even getting into that first working set. Feel like your form is good, your focus is there, your nervous system is turned on. And then that first set, you're going to treat like it's the only set you're going to do. And that right there, first of all, I learned that from Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that right there is going to change the game of your weight selection and the intention, the mind-muscle connection that you're putting into the movement. I'm not waiting for 10 minutes from now to feel like something. I am creating an environment with a selection of the weight that is intentionally getting at that experience within those first 5 reps, within those first 8 reps, within those first 10 reps, whatever the name of the game is that day. And that first set mentality has given me such a better quality of workout, even as an experienced lifter. And it's striking that balance where you're trying to get to that 1 or 2, maybe 3 reps in reserve. A rep in reserve means like you finished that 10th rep, how many more reps could you have done? If you think you could have done maybe 1 or 2 more reps, you're in that sweet spot. If you're like, oh, girl, like I was just thinking about my grocery list. I could have done 15 more. You're asleep girl, no. Regroup, pick up a heavier weight. And this is this is combining, I guess, both the first set mentality and that Muhammad Ali approach of like, I only start counting when the reps feel sticky, when the reps feel uncomfortable and tough. When you stack those reps, when you stack that intentionality, you are going to become unstoppable. And if there's a way that you are moving your body and you're like, Robin, this works for me, then continue to do it by all means. I am not of the camp trying to judge women for what they do with their bodies, especially if it makes them feel good. But I know that there's a large untapped population of folks who need to hear this message. And bestie, I'm telling you, you are leaving confidence and vibrancy on the table if you aren't tapping into the feeling of progress lifting increasingly heavy weights. And my experience lifting heavy weights, I mean, I think incorporating heavy lifting was not only a game changer for my longevity, for my body, for my confidence. There's something really guttural and innate about being able to pick something up off the ground that is heavy as hell. Like, I'm sorry, I could deadlift my husband. Like, I could deadlift a whole ass man. I didn't start that way, but you better believe I'm not going to stop. And there is just something about knowing intuitively, like you can stand on your own 2 feet and pick up something heavy off the ground. I could pull up my own body. I could pull myself up to the ceiling right now off a bar. You can't tell me shit. And I want that confidence for you. And I completely understand like the runner's high and that feeling of doing like a dope Peloton ride. And when you pair that experience, that endurance-filled high, with a few punctuated points a week that are intentional and you're creating mechanical tension, you are going to become an undeniable human. And I want that full story. I want that full story for folks because when I started falling in love with movement, I was only giving myself part of the toolkit. It's like, I don't want you to paint a picture just with red and blue. I want you to have all the colors, baby. So we're doing a special Q&A this week that is in-house. My producer, Meg, has a friend who just had a baby, and she asked, like, how can I best support? And this got me thinking, like, what is some of the best postpartum support? Like, how can you support your girlfriend who just had a baby? And I think taking the decision-making out of it and making it as practical as possible. I'm talking food. I'm talking coming over and doing the dishes. If they have multiple kids, you offer to take the older one out for an activity, right? Take them out for 30 minutes at the playground just to give them a breather. I think there is a misconception. It's often not that the mom needs you to take the baby. Actually, never assume that. It's more so that they need help with everything else. And, receiving obviously the text or the message of, hey, I'm here for you, whatever you need, is, of course, very kind. But it's not actually helpful, especially when you are just in the throes of, like, I don't even remember the last time I drank water. I'm just trying to keep this baby alive. And, like, I've been wearing the same clothes for 3 days. They haven't even thought about taking a shower. So they're not thinking about what to text you in an eloquent way of how you can help them. Make that decision for them and, in fact, give them options. Like, I think I would love to have received a text like, A, B, or C. What would you like? I order Thai food for you today. A. B. I come over and I do your laundry for an hour. C. I take Athena to the park for 30 minutes on Thursday at 4 p.m. Right? And then or D. Other, fill in the blank. Right? So it's just like nudging them towards some practical things that they can say, actually, I opt into this, or I would vary it this way. Right? And I think at any time somebody is grieving or somebody is, in a, post-injury or, taking some of the decision-making out of it is really how you're showing love, because you're opening up their capacity and their bandwidth to be with what's in front of them. In this case, a really joy-filled moment, but they've been through a hell of a lot physically and emotionally, and they will. And it's a roller coaster. And that's the other thing, is that the check-in, I think, 4 weeks after the baby is where the check-in is needed the most. I kind of feel like the first 2 weeks, you're like still in the bubble. But they probably have family that might be coming to stay. That's when they have the most people up in their grill. But 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, that's when things start getting even more real and the sleep deprivation has lingered a lot longer. And you're like, gosh, I could really use somebody to send me an Uber Eats delivery right now. So that's my advice for a postpartum girlfriend.
Thanks, Robin.
This week's edit is all about music, all about the jams. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I use music. So I use music to pump me up, of course. I love doing a workout to music. I actually don't usually run with music, interestingly enough, but I definitely lift to music. Using music to pump you up, but also to bring you down. So for peaceful moments, I love Portishead. And I love Beyonce's song Superwoman. I think that's such a sexy, vibey song. Pumping up or intensity is anything by NF. I fell in love with NF, the artist, when I started training for my very first HYROX. And now his music, especially the song Hope, that is a trigger for me. Recently, when I was racing HYROX Miami, I listened to Hope on repeat when I was in the warm-up area. And I actually had to turn it off because I was like, I might just punch a wall right now. I was a little too I was a little too hype. 300 Violin Orchestra by Jorge Quintero is kind of a wild card, but that song I listened to on repeat when I ran the New York City Marathon years ago, and I listened to it on repeat for 3.5 hours. So now that song is a trigger for me in a good way when I need to lock in. And I would obviously borrow these, download them, but consider what songs get you in different frames of mind. I think we often think of music as ways to pump up, but there are so many different ways to tap into the emotions and the physical state that we are in when we hear a song. So I would love to hear yours. Let us know on the Project Swagger socials. I will see y'all soon.
A little surprise prop for this one under the couch.
Oh! Should I just throw this at the camera?
Yeah.
So we have a whole extra set, so I can just